Hi, everybody. Welcome to Live with Georgia. This is Live with Georgia Take 2, Saturday, October 3rd. Welcome. I'm hoping that I have sound now because I didn't before. So, Charlie, if you're here, let me know. In the meanwhile, I'll just keep talking. I had to crack open a whole new set of tarot cards because I had misplaced mine. Now, this is the not the borderless edition of the Smith Rider-Waite, right? The Centennial deck. This is the deck that I'm reading from, the Smith-Waite Tarot Centennial Edition deck. I normally use one that is borderless, but you can see that this one has borders. See this white border? That's what that is, the border. And when it's borderless, it means that the image is stretched all the way out and you get sort of more image for your money, so to speak. But I love the borderless, but I also love these. These are the traditional deck. And in this particular deck, you get all these extra illustrations that Pamela Coleman Smith made. Hi, is that you, Charlie? Hi, Marlene. How are you? Hi. I was having some trouble. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. I had some trouble earlier and I wasn't making any sound. Wonderful. So there was something wrong with my microphone, and I hope Charlie finds me because she was helping me a little earlier. Awesome. Welcome. Hello. If you have your tarot deck handy, take it out. We're going to be doing some practices. For anyone who is learning the tarot, I'm going to have to shuffle this deck really well now because it's a brand new deck. I couldn't find my tarot deck tonight, so I've had to break open a whole new deck. And they're all in order, so I'm going to shuffle them up. Marlene, are you on my email list? I don't know if you've gotten on, but I send out, if you're learning how to read the tarot, there was something wrong with the audio in your prior video. Oh, you thought it was your phone? Yes. Oh, thank you, Marlene. So Marlene says, no, I'm not. That's fine. So if you are, let me know if you're learning to read the tarot. Have your own deck handy. Charlie, thank you for letting me know that you couldn't hear me. That's perfect. So now that we're up and running and we've got the microphone working, that's all good. I don't know what's going to happen. Well, this might be the card for the night. It just fell out. Hold on. Got to hold my crown as I go down for this. Oh, here it is. It's the Page of Swords. Page of Swords. So we've often had the Page of Swords, haven't we? So the Page of Swords is like this young, kind of youthful energy. If you got my email today, I talked a lot. I talked about the minor arcana, and I split them up into the suits and then the court cards, and the page is one of the court cards, and the court cards of the swords means that we're talking about air, energy, we're talking about the intellect and the mind, and this card is a page. So the youth, when you combine the sort of air energy and the intellect energy, and you then talk about, well, it's a page, therefore we're talking about the air energy that's kind of mutable, movable, because he's young, he's inexperienced. So he doesn't quite know how to handle the sword, right? He doesn't quite know how to wield the sword. Whereas the next one over, the knight, you see him and he's rushing off on his horse. And so this is a guy that knows exactly what to do with the sword. And even if he doesn't have that much more experience than the page, he's going to use it because he's determined, right? So the page is less sure about his experience with the sword and less sure about jumping in, and going all in because he's just beginning. And so this is a beginning card. So if you get the Page of Swords, and I suppose tonight we kind of had that kind of a beginning, didn't we? We kind of started, but we stopped, and then we started again because I've got a whole new live stream going. Let me know if you're here. Hi, everybody. Thanks a lot for coming on. We're going to talk about the Strength card tonight, which is the next card in the series of the Major Arcana. I was shuffling this brand new deck, and the Page of Swords popped out. It's all good fun. We've got to really shake up the major and the minor arcana. If anyone has a question tonight, it's $10 for a question. You can send money to PayPal or Zelle via my email, georgiamarantos@gmail.com. Or you could pay via my website, and I think the link is in the description, but I can put it up for you here. My website is georgiamarantos.com/shop. And if you go into my shop, you will find the Saturday Night Live reading, which is here. And I want to say, of course, as always, that this is a show that is for entertainment purposes only, that I'm reading the tarot for fun. And, even though I do say that, I take it very seriously when I say that you are your own best guru, and that, anything anyone else ever tells you has to go through your own system of, checks and balances. Is what this person's saying. I'm not just going to accept what this person says as instant truth, and I'm not going to allow that to overpower my own thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, because it's a very disempowering thing to do that, to allow someone else to sort of take the reins of your life. And I've learned that the hard way, basically. And I speak from experience when I'm now learning to take the reins of my own life, and everything that comes into me or comes to, into my sort of world where I'm suddenly sensing, experiencing that in front of me, I wondered to myself, well, if this is what I'm creating, is this what I want to be creating? Is this something I'm just going to accept on face value? How am I reacting to this? I'm now constantly looking at what's coming into my environment, whether or not it's triggering me, and whether or not I want to continue being triggered in this way. Do I want to continue playing these old programs, of staying in a very low vibration? No, I don't. So therefore, how do I increase my vibration? How do I uplift myself? Well, I have to learn how to reframe. I have to learn how to take a negative and turn it into a positive. Sometimes that means doing nothing and just letting whatever happen, right? Because sometimes that's the least path of resistance, just to allow. And other times it's saying, oh, this really, really negative thing, there's something good in that too. And so I take that and I say, okay, what's the good in this? And you do something in neuro-linguistic programming called you chunk it up. Kind of, what is the higher purpose of this? And why would I be experiencing this in my life right now? And it just takes you up out of the crud of that everyday life kind of problem issue thing. It turns it into a blessing, turns an issue into a blessing, a problem into already solved solution. Marlene says, trust our own intuition before anything or anyone else. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not a medical doctor or a nurse or a mental health practitioner, even though I've studied that in the past. And when I did study in the past, it means that I was looking into my own mental health, and I was looking at balancing my own well-being and coming into my own sense of well-being. And I really don't feel like I've come into the true understanding of that until I added sort of spirituality into the mix. So I had the psychology, the understanding of medicine, the biology, but until I added spirituality, I don't feel like I really got the holistic sense of how to create well-being in the human being. Because without spirit, without that spirituality, we're not whole. If we're only concentrating on the physical and the psychological, we're not reaching our full potential. I love that you say that. It's so true, Marlene says. Yeah, about trusting your own intuition. Absolutely. So why do we come to people like me? Why do I go to people like me? So I get readings from other people. I do it because sometimes I'm so in my emotion about something that I just need to kind of, I need somebody else to kind of feed what I intuitively know back to me. And when I'm not getting that back, I have to question it. Why did I come to this person? Why is this person saying that? Why did I need to come out of myself? Why did I not trust myself enough? Right? So sometimes going to get a reading from someone that turns out to be a really bad reading is really good. Because what happens is you go to the reading, it sounds terrible. It sounds like this is not a very good reading at all. But what it affirms is, oh, I should trust myself more. And that's worth the money that you pay, right? Because if something pushes you back into yourself and gets you believing back, but gets you believing into your own intuition and connecting back into your own intuition and saying, I think I know better, right? That's really powerful. That's self-empowering. And that you couldn't pay for. You couldn't make it up, right? You couldn't say, well, today I'm going to go to a reading and I'm going to have a bad reading so that I can feel good about myself. It's not why we do it. We often go to readings to feel better about ourselves. But even a bad reading can make you feel good about yourself. That's a Oh, Marlene, you just donated. Wonderful. So let me know what your question is. I'm excited to do any reading tonight. So excited. I'm so here. If anybody's learning how to read the tarot, get your tarot deck out. I've cracked open a whole new tarot deck. Marlene, let me know what your question is. We've got all the time in the world, and you're the only person with a reading here, so we could go into detail. Hey, Annalisa, how are you? Hello. He's my good friend from her. Actually, check her YouTube channel out. My spiritual friend. She does readings every Sunday night. Get in early because she's super booked up. By the time you get there, she'll be sold out. So make sure you're one of the first people. Oh, thank you so much, Annalisa. So, Marlene, let's start. Wonderful. As you know, your donations tonight, 30% is going straight to Rainforest Flow. Super excited that we get to spend another month, making more money to give to them because they're a very good organization. So Marlene says, lately, bad things have been happening in my life. It feels like one after another. What do you see for that? I do my best to stay positive. Okay. Let's have a look at what the tarot has to say. So I'm going to, I know I just went on this big old rant about changing the positive to the negative to the positive, but sometimes it's just too hard, especially if lots happens all at once. Then it's overwhelming. And when it's overwhelming, it does help to have a good coffee with a good friend or, sit with somebody or in this safe space. It's good to kind of tease things apart. So let's have a look at what the tarot has to say about this chain of bad things happening to you, Marlene. So I'm going to close my eyes. Call in spirit. So I get an energy beneath that bad thing, beneath the bad things happening. There's an energy of either anger or frustration that was already there before those things happened. You know how sometimes at the beginning of the day, you can wake up and you stub your foot or your toe the minute you get out the bed, and then you're like, oh, damn, this is how the day's going to go. And then the rest of the day just rises to meet your expectation of how bad it's going to be, right? So I think it's a little bit like that. There's an energy that's already kind of simmering underneath you that has this kind of, the bull that kind of, that, when it's like flared its nostrils and it's breathing fire as it's about to go through the red flag. It's almost like, that energy is sitting underneath these bad things happening. So let's figure out, let's see what tarot has to say, because I literally got that information from spirit. So if we're going to use the tarot, we're going to pull the card and see how that relates. So Marlene says, I'm not sure if I have that. Okay. So this is that other thing. So I'm really glad that you said that, Marlene. When something's not resonating, I'm going to go back and check in on myself, right? Because I got an image from spirit. I may have misinterpreted that. So when you're learning to read the tarot, not everything that you interpret is going to be right. So I'm not about to say, hey, Marlene, you're not right. I'm going to say, hey, this, and I have to be right. That's absolutely not true. Even the best psychics are only going to be 80 at their best. The best psychics at their best will be 80%, accurate, right? And I'm not near that. I'm actually learning. As I'm teaching, I'm learning. And there's lots of room for improvement. So when I get an image from spirit and I see this energy of the hoof, there's got to be another reason. So I'll say what spirit gave me, I trust. But the way I've interpreted it may be wrong. So we're going to do... so Annalisa says yes to accuracy, right? So what I'm going to do... So Marlene said, I pulled cards on myself and I'm hoping you might confirm what I got. Oh, I'm so curious, Marlene. So look what we've got now. So I'm going to pull the cards and let's see. And I trust absolutely. I trust your intuition, right? And I trust spirit. So we got the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords. The Ace is a yes. If you got my newsletter today, I ran through all of the numbers 1 to 10. Ace is always an opportunity, a new beginning, an initiation, right? So you have an initiation now. You have the capacity. So this string of bad things, inverted commas, I'm glad you put it in inverted commas, have been happening in life, one after another. What do I see for that? I see clarity. I see you breaking through that. So this string of bad things that's been happening is clearly coming to an end, because this card says the truth will set you free, right? This card says, let's part the clouds and part all the confusion and part all of this. Why are those things happening? And bring through the truth, bring through the connection straight to spirit, which you do when you're doing your cards, right? So, hey, yeah, absolutely. This is good news. This is what you want to see. You have manifested this card, right? You have manifested the breakthrough. So when we say, if we hadn't picked this card, right, let's say we picked another card and it was echoing the stuff that had been happening. Well, your thoughts, words, and actions before those things is what created those things. Whatever energy, vibration was creating those things is in the past. So where you are now is creating this. This is what you're creating. So you're creating success. You're creating connection to spirit. You're creating this gold energy coming down through the crown chakra. You're creating this balance. See the balance of the divine energy coming through. And to say that this is a little bit like the strength card that we're going to be talking about tonight is, it's very true, because in the strength card, you're pulling in the strength of union with the divine. And if you can get your mind, the everyday mind out of the way and connect with your divine mind, connect your mind with the divine mind, that's what this card is. This is connection with the divine mind. Why? Because you've got a spiritual hand coming out of the clouds, and it's a spirit. It's the hand of spirit. It's white. Look how white it is. So absolutely, you have an end coming to this. So what of that? Do we really need to go and hash all those bad things out? Maybe. Is that part of your question? Marlene, if you want more details, because, I really felt what you just said. Yeah, if you want to, we can go in there and start teasing those out, but you don't need to, right? Because this is coming. So if your mind kept going to, well, why does that keep happening? Why does that keep happening? Then we'd be like, all right, let's have a look at why it keeps happening. But actually, what you've manifested is the capacity to clear the air, to clear the ways, and to clear the energy for all of that stuff to move away. So let's move on. Let's say what's coming for you, right? What's coming for you? Wonderful. Clarity. Right. So you've got the Queen of Swords. Now, I was talking about the queens. The queens, they have that nurturing role. The Queen of Swords is probably the least nurturing of all the queens, because she's kind of sitting away from you. She's not looking at you, and she's pointing her sword up. She's a bit like the Justice Lady. She's like truth and truth only. And she's very much in the air, but she is a queen of air. She is the absolute knower of all. So you go to her. Her intuition is very sharp because she's got the sword, and she's going to give you the best advice possible. So where you go from here is you go into here, where your intuition becomes very sharp, where you become sharp, and you start to lead your life in this way, where you tap into your own intuition and you say, well, I'm going to walk forward with a very clear mind, and I'm going to move forward connected to my intuition, and only will I move when my intuition says so. Now that's divine mind. That's divine mind, right? I didn't see the Ace of Swords as a divine mind before, but I did today, right? And there's 2 more cards. So if you, these 2 cards are wonderful. So there's going to be an ending of some kind of so we have the wands, which are actions. So there's been an ending of actions. And if we're to talk about these bad things, yes, is there an ending of bad things? Yes, we've kind of already had confirmation of that. But there also might be, I feel like this is related to some kind of job or some kind of activity that you'd been doing, which is coming to an end. And I do see that there may be a new meeting with somebody. This could be a new work opportunity or a new venture with somebody, with a friend. So I would ask you, I don't know where you are in terms of relationship, but this traditionally, if somebody says to me, hey, I want to be in a relationship, and we get this card, this is a great card for a relationship, a personal relationship or a business relationship. So because I get the wands, I just feel that, my intuitively is what I'm getting. I feel like something has come to an end and then there's a new beginning, an ending and a new beginning. You're married? Okay. So, could this be around work? Could this be around something? Yeah, it feels, isn't that interesting? I wanted to say job. So, this is something that's coming to an end, and this is the new beginning. This is an offering and a new beginning, something where you're on the same level with somebody. Okay. I don't know if there had been any kind of, some people who work not with contracts, but there are I've forgotten the name of it, but when you work on a project together and there's the ending of a project with the beginning of something new. And this is a very healing card as well. You've got the medical caduceus, you've got the lion, and I see this happening over the next 2 months, right? So let's have a little look there. Do you want me to keep going, Marlene? Because I definitely could. I know Annalisa's just after you, and she's got a question, which is awesome. But I could keep going because we've got, let's keep going. Another 2. So you've got 2 2s. So we have to pay attention to when we get 2 numbers. So the 2 numbers, the 2 as a number that repeats itself tells us that there's more opportunity coming. You'll have more choices. So where we sometimes feel like there's an end, there's actually more coming for you. Why? We got the ace, so we know there's new opportunity coming for you. And I can say 2s because we got the 2 of wands and the 2 of cups. And the 2 represents duality, but it also represents opportunity and choices. And so again, echoing on the ace, you've got the 2s and you're moving forward. If this is in terms of work, if things were like this, you're moving forward into an area where you're looking out to the world. What else can I do? How can I expand? How can I do more work that I want to, more of the work that I want to do in this world? You're a giver. I see that you're a giver because these flowers are here, and when we give of our heart, there's that sense that we're giving, for the flowers, or there's a garden of love in our heart. And as a giver, we want to make sure that we're also receiving. How many 2s do we have? How many 2s do we have? We have 3 2s. So now we're going into the manifestation of 2s. We're going into the manifestation of why are 3 2s here? Absolutely. So we've got Marlene's laughing. There are 3 2s here. You can't make this up. So right now, I'm wondering if I can reach for my. I'm going to reach for my. Oh, I can't. It's not here. What a shame. So the book that I have, which is all about the numerology of tarot and talks about the number 2. So we're going to have to, I would say, look it up, because my understanding of the number 2 is that it's extremely powerful. We're all living in the world of duality, and the way that we neutralize that is by coming up through spirit and the divine hand and the divine thought, right? And the divine mind, or the diamond mind. If you look in the Heart Sutras, in the Tibetan and the Buddhist scriptures, the Heart Sutras, they talk about diamond mind or Daya mind. And I really believe that something is being called for here for you, Marlene. And this is very important, because when you come to the 2, it's split, right? So here she is and she's split. But are you in 2 minds? No, you're not in 2 minds. What we've got is that we've got 3 2s. And what this is asking you to do is to move out of the duality of good and bad and come into the diamond mind, which is the mind of neutrality, which is the mind of observership and awareness. And so this is now your life's if we can pull the Queen of Swords, if she was to give you advice today, she would say, don't go into the mind. Don't go into the low energy vibrational mind, because there it becomes very, very messy. That low vibrational mind is what created all of those bad things happening, because we are the creators of our world. We are the creators of our experience. We have to take responsibility for this. We have to. We don't have to. But if you don't take responsibility for what happens in your life, we suffer, right? And one of the first things that the Buddha taught is that our thoughts create our world. And I'm working on this one. I'm working on looking at how I create my world. If I see outside of me some dark energy coming, I have to love that, because I created that, because I want to integrate that. I no longer want to push something away that it keeps coming back to me. You push something away, it keeps coming back. You push it away, it comes back. Why not just hold it close? It just dawned on me. Why do I keep pushing it away? It's like an elastic band. I push it away, it comes back. It's because it belongs to me. The elastic band's coming from me. It's so funny. So you and your way out of any string of bad things ever happening to you again is to do what the Queen of Swords says. Get absolutely clear in your mind, connect with the diamond mind, which is the divine mind, and which is what these guys are telling you to do, the twos, right? Get out of duality by going up into the diamond mind, right? This is your way out. So as you move forward, Marlene, I would put this Ace of Swords on the fridge, and I put the Queen of Swords up on the fridge, and I would remember what we said tonight about creating that divine mind and connecting with the divine mind and always keeping your vibration up. And I think that's going to keep you on this path of being able to clear all the obstacles, drop all these sticks because they're too heavy, right? And if we look at what's going on at work, did we look at that? Yeah, you'd be able to let things go without any worry or any concern. Because if you're inspired by what you receive through your connection with the divine mind, then you know that everything's going as it should, right? So that you don't need to react with stuff at work. But there is change coming. It does feel like some change coming, right? So those jagged clouds, right? That's just the wind passing them and pushing them very quickly. So best of luck. I completely understand. I need a slight shift in thinking. We all do. Oh, Marlene, you are not alone. There is a whole mass. The world en masse is being asked to shift its thinking, to go into that divine mind, to find the absolute point of stillness whilst everything changes in front of us. Because if we dive into all of that change that's in front of us, we end up tumbling like we're in the washing machine with it. And I know we all know that through experience, right? And that slight change in thinking, it's like the tiniest perspective. It's not like you are conscious of this all the time. So it's a matter of when something happens right in front of you, like when you mentioned inverted commas bad things, it's like, oh, I'm going to do what I did to manifest this card. Whatever you did that manifested this for you is perfect. Keep doing it. Keep doing it, Marlene. Well done. Thank you so much. And I'm super grateful for you purchasing a reading tonight. Super, super grateful. What a powerful way to start the night. What a great, great set of cards to get. And whatever the raging bull was with all of that energy coming out of its nostrils, I'm grateful it's gone. Sometimes the bull just needs to be left alone, right? We don't even give it any attention. Just let it sort of snort in the corner. Sometimes you don't have to talk about the elephant in the room, and then it'll just go away. Sometimes when you ignore it, it just goes away. Who knew? It's not always that if you ignore it, it comes back. Who knew? If it's not yours, it won't come back. I was talking about that elastic band, right? So you keep pushing something away and it comes back. Well, it's yours. If you push it away and it comes back, it has to be yours because it's connected to you. But if you push it away, ignore it, doesn't come back, it's not yours. It's got nothing to do with you. Why reach out and grab it? Well done, Marlene. Well done. So, Annalisa, I'm so excited. Thank you for supporting me and coming on. This is so awesome. Everybody support my friend Annalisa. Get on her YouTube channel. Give her a like and a subscribe. She does great work, super work, connected to the divine, in service to the divine. So we're now going to connect in with your husband about his surgery. So my question is about Stu's health. His surgeon says he may need another surgery. So, you know, I'm not a practicing doctor or nurse, but I do have a background. So I understand some things. And if we were in conversation and we talked about, you know, what diagnosis it was, and, you know, from a medical point of view, I would understand all the terminology. But now what we're doing is we're checking in with spirit. And we understand with spirit that our thoughts, words, and our actions create the world that we live in because they create a vibration, and that vibration brings in a certain experience. So if we're experiencing ill health or dis-ease, we have to look at what it is inside of ourselves that's creating it. Of course, we have to deal with the dis-ease on a physical level too. That's why we have doctors and scientists and medicine and surgeries, and that's why it exists, because we need to deal with it, but we also need to deal with everything else so that we get the full picture, we get the holistic health, we get that full balanced well-being. So let's have a look. I'm going to pick a card for Stu, and we're going to pick a card for his health. And we're going to pick a card for the surgery that the doctor has recommended. So look. Oh, I pushed a button on my laptop. So this is Stu. This is a great card for Stu. I mean, he's just a happy guy. This is awesome, right? Happy guy, sunny, shiny, happy guy. This is the kind of person you want in your life. Sunshine, the sunflowers are out. Really, looking at these cards, Annalisa, I wouldn't even know that he was unwell because this was him. This was his illness, right? Or the thing that requires surgery. And this was surgery. So let's have a look at the question, because I'm like, well, it doesn't look like there's much wrong with him. So my question would be to you, is this something that he's had, you know, since he was a kid? And is this something that's needed? Oh, it's spinal surgery. Right. He always expects the worst. Well, something's happened, right? This is interesting because this is the card. Maybe this card is telling him to be free, because if I looked at these cards just like this, I'd say, you know, there really is no need for anything. I'm about to talk about something which I was introduced to. And just before we started talking about your husband, I wanted to talk about it. It's called The Earthing Movie. Annalisa, if you haven't seen this movie, you have to see it. It's on YouTube. It's so I don't know if he had some congenital thing on his spine, or that's the way his spine was when he was born. But that's what I get from this card. You know, this card, which is showing us this child. So he may have had it as a child, right? So maybe there was just some malalignment or something there that, you know, as we grow older and we spend all this time sitting down and we get ungrounded. So the reason I want to bring up The Earthing Movie is big childhood is what that makes sense. And so, you know, look at the top of this rainbow. Doesn't it look like a spine? If you turn it like this and you were to make them all straight, these look like the bones in the spine. In any case, it's a very positive card. They're all positive cards, right? So we haven't asked, should he have surgery? Should he not have surgery? We're just saying these cards look good, right? So if we're to get more specific, right? You were first drawn to that too. So let me tell you about the Earthing movie. Now, the Earthing movie is basically a movie that talks to human beings who have lost their connection with the earth because we started wearing rubber-soled shoes, and we started living inside our houses and not going out. And especially if we live in places where there's 6 months of winter and snow, where you're just going to miss that connection with the earth and getting outside, right? Because most of us get out in the summer, we don't do it in the winter. But there's a way to ground even without going outside. And there are all these new sort of products that you can buy that are earthing mats. But the whole premise is that when you earth yourself, when you connect to Mother Nature, when you connect to the ground of the earth, you discharge all of those positive ions, which is inflammation, and you create a negative ion, you create a negative ion state. So pain and inflammation and kind of disease can't live. Inflammation can't live. So there are all these autoimmune disorders. There are all these inflammatory disorders. Heart disease is an inflammatory disorder. Any kind of arthritis or any kind of inflammation around a nerve is inflammation. And you'll be amazed to find out when you do the research, and you can just research it on YouTube, because there's the movie, there's the Clint Ober who has written the book. He's been involved in at least 24 different studies that are science and peer reviewed. I don't know how many of them were double-blind controlled trials, but the ultimate standard of scientific research is a double-blind controlled trial, meaning you give one person the true drug or the true treatment, and then you give another person a fake treatment, and then you compare how the two go. Well, if the treatment is not meant to, it doesn't work at all, then the people who take the treatment don't get better, and the people who don't take the treatment don't get better either. But if the treatment does work, then what you're going to see is a huge disparity between the people that got the treatment and the people that didn't, right? So that everybody who got the treatment does really well, and those that didn't don't do so well at all. And that's what was proven with all of these grounding studies. And if you watch the movie, you'll just be amazed. They don't go through the study, but they do cite them. And his book, which I've just started reading, I'm just super excited about, because when someone who makes a discovery and then goes on to be involved with so many different medical faculties. So he's working now with multiple sclerosis and lupus patients, looking at reducing their inflammation at various sites where the inflammation happens. So coming back to your husband, right? So a spinal stenosis, which is what you mentioned, right? I'm going to pick a card for spinal stenosis. Okay. The Hanged Man means that it's out of his control, meaning that the spine is tight, and it's putting pressure on the spinal cord, as I understand it, right? And that pressure creates nerve changes or nerve. So he's experiencing nerve symptoms, okay? Now, the way he's experiencing the nerve symptoms, so what he's experiencing in terms of pain, or it could be inflammation, or you don't know, but the pain system, the pain, the way we experience pain and our immune system is tied together, right? So when we experience pain, our alarm chemicals go up, right? We go into fear. And so we shoot off all these adrenaline, right? Because it's alarming to experience pain. And so when you're in a heightened state, your immune system comes in to try to, your parasympathetic system tries to dampen it down. But if it can't, and you're constantly shooting off chemicals that say, I'm in pain, then your immune system starts to suffer. And so it's like one thing feeds another thing, feeds another thing. And if your psychology has been that you experienced trauma in the past, then you're going to have this loop of experiencing pain that's creating a drain on the system, plus the psychology of that bring you feeling down, even though your physical system, that started here, that may not be getting worse, or it might be getting worse. But if it's not just getting worse, everything around you is crumbling. So how does he support himself with this? So let's have a look at that, right? Because it looks like in terms of the spinal stenosis, there's nothing he can do, but he can do something about everything else. That was a very long-winded way of saying he can help himself. He can reduce his adrenaline, right? So he can do a lot of things to help reduce the adrenaline, and he can do a lot of things to support his immune system, and he can ground, because when he grounds, his whole body gets flushed with these negative ions, and it calms the sympathetic nervous system, brings all that down. He goes into a parasympathetic state. So your husband should take his shoes off. We should all take our shoes off. I am taking my shoes off and going out and walking in the grass. And I used to be afraid of ticks, and I am not afraid of ticks. I don't care if the ticks, I'm not going to say that because I don't want to manifest it. I am not going to be afraid of ticks to prevent myself from getting grounded. So watch the earthing movie, get your husband to watch the earthing movie, and see if you can reduce all of those other stresses that add to the spinal stenosis thing. So should we ask, do you want to ask the next obvious question, which is, well, let's pick some cards, Annalisa, because I think it's just you and me. Jennifer says, oh my God, your crown. I wore it today, Jen. Welcome. Hi. Hi, Anna. How you doing? Are you paid for a reading? Woohoo! Thank you so much. Well, it's so funny, Jen. This is the crown that I spoke to you about that has all these knobbly, and I'm going to get back to your husband, Annalisa, but look at these crystals. I bought this off a woman on Etsy, and she had these beautiful crystal crowns advertised on her Etsy page, and they were exquisite. Like every single crystal looked like this one, right? See how beautiful that one is? And it was they were clear and they were like upright. And I was like, oh, I have to wear one of those. And she sends it to me, and they're cracked, and these are like, they're milky, and some are small and some are big, and it's like totally imperfect. And I got so angry. I was like, this is not like the one that you showed me on your website. And I wrote her this really long sort of acid dripping letter. And then I changed it because, it's not good to respond with your initial sort of anger. And so I dampened it down. And every time I rewrote the message to her, I had to dampen down. I had to like take out sections. Oh, I'm not going to say that. It's unnecessary really to make this person feel bad about what they've made. Like maybe it didn't pass through the system, a normal system of checks that she normally goes through. And then eventually I got the message. The message was, this crown is perfect for me. Why? Because I need to accept the imperfections in me, right? I don't need the crystal crown that has every single perfect crystal that's exactly the same length, because that's not who I am. So I'm in the process of accepting warts and all, right? That I've been made like this, and this is who I am, and this is what I'm bringing to the world. And I'm a mom, and I'm not perfect, and I'm the tarot reader, and I'm not perfect. I get my intuitive messages, and it's not perfect. But you know what? In the moment, if I'm loving and I'm kind, then that's as best as I can be. So it's almost like there's what's going to be good enough for me. I'm changing what's good enough. I'm changing from not being good enough to, it's good enough. I can meet some of these very small, goalposts in the sand, and I can say, was I kind today? Did I do my best to help myself today? Just tiny little goalposts. And if I can reach those, right, I'm flooded with these good chemicals. I'm flooded with feeling good. Did I get out and ground today? Oh, I did. Did I get out? I sat on a chair. So, the chairs that you sit on in Central Park, and all of the chairs are turned around and away from the grass, and you put your feet on the concrete, which is usually not concrete. It's tarred surface. So tar is made of plastic, and it's not grounding. So every time I go to sit on a seat in Central Park, if I'm not sitting on the grass, I turn myself around. I'm sitting on the seat. I put my legs through the back of the seat, the chair, those benches, and I stick my bare feet on the grass while the kids are playing or doing whatever. So I get to ground at the same time, right? Put my bare feet on the dirt. Back to your husband, Annalisa. So what I suggest for your husband is that he ground. I also suggest that he does some calming guided meditations. And today, if we get time, because we're working on the strength card, which looks at inner strength and connection with the divine, I'm going to do a chakra attunement guided meditation. And it's a Derek O'Neill meditation, and he's given me permission to use this, and I'm going to share it with all of you today because I felt like it was in the same vibration as the strength card. And once we talk about the strength card, it will all make sense. So he could use some of that calming guided meditation work that, you know, he might think it's woo-woo, because often we have very grounded men that go off and tell us to do all these woo-woo things. But there's a lot of science behind guided meditation, you know, helping patients pre-surgery to have better outcomes. There's a lot of, quiet music. The same thing with hypnobirthing, the type of, the type of ambiance and the type of vibration you put yourself in before you go in to have labor. And if you can keep yourself at that place, you know, you have a better outcome, or you have a better birth or a better experience. So that's what it's looking for him. So let's have a look at that. Guided meditations for him. Oh my goodness. Spirit is saying rush to that. He could use that. Absolutely. So I might email you some suggestions, but I think, Annalisa, you probably have a few of your own of where you could find some relaxing guided meditations, because as he's experiencing pain, the best thing for him is to actually calm his system down, because as he experiences pain, if he goes into the sympathetic and adrenal, he's going to create more pain, right? Because there's that loop. So he needs that guided meditation. What else did we say? Earthing. How will that be for him? Oh boy. Will earthing help him? Absolutely. Success. This is this. I mean, not only is there green everywhere, the horse is wearing green. It will be very, very healing for him. There's a wreath on this man's head. There's a wreath on the one that he's holding. There's green all over the horse. What's your man to do? Get out in the backyard, take his shoes off, take his clothes off. Whilst it's still warm, roll around on the grass. Roll around on the grass, get connected to the grass, go to earthing.com, buy some products there. I've bought a few, and I might be able to, I don't think I can. I didn't bring them in here. But maybe next week I'll show everybody the products that I bought that help me earth. But I think earthing's going to be fantastic for him. And now, does he need to have the surgery, right? Does he need to have the surgery? Now, you've already discussed this with him. He's already discussed this with him. If he does these two things, who knows how he'll feel? Will he be able to put it off for a little bit? He'll be able to, buy himself some time before he needs to have any extra surgery? Maybe, right? So does he need to have surgery? Not just as yet, right? So this guy's standing behind the wall. He's not over the wall. He's behind the wall. Be able to find the link, but literally on YouTube, it's free. It's called the Earthing Movie, and you can actually watch the whole movie for free. And it's changed my life. So I'm seeing everything since I came to America and didn't have access to the beach, which used to be my anchoring grounding point. Where I would spend all of my time whenever I needed to. I'd just drive my car to the beach and go on the sand or sit on a rock. And that would be my grounding. I didn't realize how much I'd lost that when I came to America, and I hadn't found my grounding here. And I've just gotten sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. Basically, I've become more and more inflamed. And I didn't know that. And COVID was the height of that. I was in the house for 3 months straight, not grounding at all. And we were all going crazy. And that's because we weren't grounding. We didn't have the capacity to ground. So, Annalisa, you lost me a little bit. Sorry about that. But if I can just summarize very quickly that, what's happening with your husband's sort of spinal stenosis, that's got its own sort of prognosis, but that he might be able to buy himself some time if he does the guided meditation, which sounds like it's really going to help him. Even if you play it whilst he's asleep or just as he's going off to sleep, that'll really help him. And also the earthing will really, really help him. It will bring him into a negative ion state and reduce all that and dampen down the pain signals and the adrenaline and get him into a parasympathetic state. I can feel it happening to him as we speak. Perfect. Or you can rewatch. I repeated myself a lot, but I was talking a lot about the Earthing movie, which has changed my life. So definitely watch it. It's on YouTube. I'll send you the link if I remember after we chat. So Jennifer, we're all perfecting. Charlie says, I love your crystal tiara. Thank you. Thank you. I wore it today. The imperfection, the perfection in the imperfection, right? I really appreciate and admire how you share personal tales and weave in teachings, wisdom for us throughout your show. Thanks, Jen. Well, that's the truth, right? If we don't learn from our own experiences, holy cow. Oh, you posted the link. Thank you. Jennifer posted the link to the movie. Fantastic. Thank you. I did feel like that. Anna says she just paid for a reading. Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, Annalisa, Anna Leclerc. Hold on a moment. I'm just reading. He had 3-level fusion, and now the disc above and below the surgical site are bulging. He's in pain constantly. Oh my dear. So it's really going to help him to do those auxiliary, everything around getting the surgery done is going to help him significantly, tremendously. In the movie, so when you watch the Earthing movie, I'm sorry to go on about this, but it's really, I've been investing since I was told about this movie, which was 2 weeks ago during Derek O'Neill's workshop. He suggested we watch this movie, and the movie's been around for a couple of years now. I think it came out last year, 2019. Since that moment, I've been investigating the whole science behind earthing and grounding, and it's just blown my mind. I don't know why I hadn't heard of it before. It's just, I can't believe that it's so simple, that it's in front of our face, that human beings have lost their connection, that we've evolved connected to the earth. Our body system exists and is in balance because we connect to the earth. So when we don't connect to the earth, why are we surprised that we're out of balance, that our immune systems are nuts, and that we're overstimulated, and that we have things like all of these inflammatory diseases, which are the dementias, the heart diseases, the cancers? They're all inflammatory. They're all autoimmune inflammatory diseases. We have a surge of these diseases. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm repeating to you what I've heard these experts talk about. These experts, this Clint Ober and all these other guys that have done the research, are the ones that are the experts. There are cardiologists in these films. There are physicians. There are Clint Ober, who's the guy, the sort of electrician / cable guy who discovered it, kind of rediscovered grounding for the modern man, who's written a book about it, and he talks about it. So I'm really just regurgitating that, but I've experienced it in my own life. When I sit on a rock and meditate, I meditate deeper. When I connect myself to the ground, I feel calmer. It has to. When my children connect to the ground, they're happier, they're playful, and they don't ever want to leave. I used to drag them away from the playground, saying, "Oh no, we've got to go." I don't do that anymore. I'm like, the more you ground, the better for me. We'd come back into the apartment, they'd be bouncing off the walls, and I had no idea why, because they weren't grounded. I'm going to keep going on about it. Forgive me. But I could keep going on about it. It's so simple and so powerful. And here we go. And I'm glad that I had an opportunity to talk about that with you. If you do follow it, though, I did want to say this. There's a movie called The Grounding Movie. So it's a separate movie made a few years earlier by a guy in Alaska who became so passionate about grounding in Alaska that in his hometown, he bought everybody earthing kits. So he had all these aches and pains, and once he started grounding, they disappeared. He started buying these grounding kits for everybody. So in Alaska, it's like freezing, like at least 8 months of the year. I don't know how many, but they are under snow a lot of the time. This particular town was anyway. And so he bought all these earthing kits for all of his friends who were in constant pain. One of his friends grounded, I think, overnight. He slept on a grounding sheet overnight, and he'd experienced 20 years of back pain. And after that one night, had no more back pain. No more back pain. How is that possible? How is that possible? In medicine, you would think that if someone has 20 years of back pain, whatever structural problems or whatever's causing those problems, you would think they would continue. The prognosis is if you've had 20 years of pain, you're going to continue having 20 years of pain. And so people are told you have to live with it. But that his pain would disappear blew my mind. There was another person that he sent this grounding kit to. She sent it back saying, I can't afford to be pain-free because I'm on a disability. And the grounding kit made her pain-free, so it was of no use to her. Which was just, if the grounding, this is how powerful it is, that somebody who's so disabled to be on a disability is suddenly free of their disability because of grounding. There's something in this. There's something in this. And it's not wacko science. It's real science that's backing this up. So enough of my rant. Sorry about that. We're talking about the tarot. We really are talking about the tarot. What about the tarot is grounding? Brings us back into, what can we do to bring ourselves back into the body with the tarot? You know, the tarot keeps us up in the head a lot, which really kind of suits my Libran sensibilities. But I find that if I'm using the tarot to look at myself, to kind of work on, you know, my psyche and work on the subconscious and become conscious of the subconscious, then there's something very grounding in that, right? For me. And I hope for you too, because I feel that it's a very powerful tool to be able to do this, because you look at this picture, it reflects back to you. It's like, oh, this is what my thoughts are. This is what my vibration is. When we did that reading for Mary Ellen, oh my God, Marlene. I'm so sorry, I'm forgetting your name. When we, she says back to tarot. So when we were doing that message for Marlene and we got the Ace of Swords, right? The Ace of Swords, that's what. So when we look at that, we say, oh, this is what I'm creating. I'm creating the Ace of Swords. Now that's inspiring, right? So we look at it. If we look at something and we say, oh, that's what I'm creating, well, is that inspiring or not inspiring? How do I change that? How do I become more inspiring to myself? Anna Leclerc, it's your turn. We're up to you. Thank you so much for joining, my friend. Hi, Georgia. You look beautiful. Thank you so much. Just signed up and paid for a reading tonight if there's time. General reading is fine. You better believe it. There is a lot of time for you. Here we go. A general reading for Anna Leclerc. Here we go. Two cards want to come out. The first one was the Four of Coins, okay, which is this one. So the Four of Coins, as you can see, is a man sitting down with his feet on the ground, but between his feet and the ground are two coins. Now, the coins represent the earth. So in my newsletter that I sent off today, we talk about the different suits and how they're connected to different energies, and the pentacles are connected to the earth energy. So he's earthing and you're earthing. I'm sure you are, Anna. I know you are. And here you are, the earthing as it's moving up into your heart, and earthing how it's moving up into your chakra, because this to me is a card about balance. And if you read we were talking about the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 10, and the number 4 is stability. Right? Creating stability. So you are creating stability through your earthing. You are creating stability for yourself by balancing these chakras. You got the crown chakra, the heart chakra, and the feet chakra, which connect to the ground. So you are grounding your heart and your crown in a very, very powerful way, because he's wearing red, and a very dark red, if I can say so. So when you have so much red that it's so dark, it's very grounding. It's the dark red. Right? So the dark red becomes brown, and brown is the color of the earth. So this is, to me, is about grounding. And this card is about, where do we go from here? See, this is a looking out card. So here you are, you've grounded, you're grounding, you're not doing anything. I understand you've come off Facebook, right? And so now where do we go from here? Now, what's he doing? There are wands on a rock, right? And he's standing at the top of the rock, and he's just looking at the ship sailing in. What's coming in for me? I'm going to wait and see. And so here you are connecting with spirit with your passionate cloak and your healer's sash and your capacities as a healer and intuit, right? And you're looking over the ocean and over the river as the ships sail in. And this does look like the Hudson, doesn't it? I don't know if you ever get down to look at the Hudson from New Jersey way, but you can. And, you know, when you do, you see all the passers-by and you're wondering, well, where are they going? But where am I going? So I feel that you're going into a place now of manifestation. It's a number 3. The number 3 is actually a card of manifestation. So you're not in a movement. So where you're at the moment is you're going into a place of non-movement, grounding, and manifestation. You're going to manifest your next move. Now, how are you going to do that? You're going to connect with source and you're going to wait for inspired thought and inspire, and then go on and do inspired action. Because we were talking about this with Marlene, that we come into communion with the divine mind. And when we do that, the thought and the divine thought comes through us, and then we move forward and we do that. What do you want me to do today, universe, God, source? What would you have me do? How can I be of service today to myself and others? Let's see if we can add one more to that, Anna, because we do have some time. Oh, it's 7 o'clock already. Oh, look at you. You're in a good place, Anna, and be happy with yourself. This is fabulous. This is so, so, so good. The 9 of Cups, they're all lined up. And here he is sitting on his bench, and he's perfectly happy with himself, as you should be. Keep doing the good work. Well done. How about your family? Fabulous. Everything is as it should be. And you, right, you yourself is this woman. She's naked, but she's open, right? She's open, she's vulnerable, and she's manifesting her success in the world, right? Because we used to be so used to like covering ourselves up. Oh, we're naked. You know, we don't want to show ourselves to the world. Well, it's okay to show yourself to the world if you're self-empowered. Then you don't care what the world thinks. And you move forward with your connection with the divine, knowing that you're in service. And it wouldn't matter what you look like. You don't care what people think of what you look like. Some time ago, maybe you did, but now you don't. And it doesn't matter, right? The old ways have gone. They're gone. It's like there's a whole new world here, and you're embracing that whole new world. That's the world card. You're embracing the whole new world with passion, success. Success is your new passion. Right? Success by embracing everything that has come before you, which we've always labeled as failure, but actually embracing our failures is success. So we're going to talk now about, thank you so much for everybody who's, thank you so much, Anna. You truly are. Yes, you are. Amen. We're going to talk about the strength card. Let me find it. So for everyone who's got the, you know what I wanted to do tonight? So Jennifer, I know you're studying. I was asking if anybody had, if anybody was learning the tarot. I thought what we could do is actually while we're here, so there's a few people, of the people who are watching, pick a number between 1 and 10. I'm giving away a 30-minute reading tonight. And let me know, 1 and 10. I've got my number. I'm going to write it down. Actually, I haven't written down who's had readings today, so I better do that before I forget. So today's October 3rd, and Anna had a reading, and Elisa. I think we had Marlene. Wonderful. Thank you very much. And mine was here. Okay. Superb. So I've put down mine. Did we have 3? I thought there was one other person. No, it might have just been Hey and my spiritual friend and Annalisa, right? We are perfecting, says Jennifer. Yeah, I'm just scrolling through and having a look. Wonderful. So let's see. We've got remember last week we talked about the Chariot and here it is. Such a great card. Oh, I love this. You know, in comparison to the Chariot, which was so busy, right? You had this guy in his special chariot, which was adorned, and he was adorned, and he had, a couple of moons on each shoulder, and he had this outfit with a big star, and he had the sphinxes, and he's got this, it's just such a busy card, right? Lots of action, lots of movement. Such a masculine card. I just want to pull it up for comparison. Today's card, strength card, is so quiet. So quiet. Here it is. This was last week's card, right? Busy. That's this week's card. So quiet, right? So here we go, ready to take on the world, inexperienced, no idea, no clue what's going on really, but has all the knowledge and all the understanding, about to get the experience and gain some wisdom. What's the first thing he learns? What's the first thing the soul learns, right? The strength card. What do you need in life, right? You need inner strength. So this card is about inner strength. It's not about outer strength. It's not about confidence. It's not about thinking that you know everything, right? These two cards are almost opposites. This is the external card that says, I'm confident and I know what's going on and I'm ready to go. And this card says, I think I'm going to go in and connect and figure out, what the truth is, what the truth of the matter is. So the strength card speaks very powerfully to connecting with the divine, really, really powerfully. Here she is, she's wearing a white dress, and the white is a purity and divinity. And she's wearing a wreath on her head and a wreath around her waist, and that's flowing down into her dress. So this woman, this archetype, is one of success in a very quiet movement, right? So this quiet movement is moving internally to quiet the wild beast, right, within. So the beast is the lion, and the lion is red and it's passionate, right? And not only is the lion sort of putting its head up in a very submissive way, right? Because she's not exerting power. So this isn't a card about power over another, because this animal is giving of itself. It's allowing this. So if we think of the lion as the king of the beasts, the king of the jungle, this one rules the jungle. There is no one who can be above the king, right? Above the lion, because the lion will take on another lion to the death, right? Until someone is dead. The lion that wins becomes the king of that domain, becomes the king of the clan. And so for this lion to then give of itself and submit is an incredible undertaking. And so what we have is that this is happening all internally. And that the symbol that we have seen in the magician comes back in the strength card. It's the infinity symbol. And the infinity symbol tells us that we have an understanding of the law of nature, as above, so below, so within, so without, cycles continuing to come and go, right? And that this life as we know it is never ending. We were never born, we never died. And that understanding is at the top of her crown. And as she does that, she's connecting. For her to be able to do this with this line, she has to be connecting to the divine. And look at how there's so much yellow. When do you remember there being so much yellow? Remember? So the strength card and the Fool card are very connected. What we don't have is the white sun, right, which is the purity, but she's wearing white. So you have a sky that's clear and very yellow. So that's that masculine energy. That's the sun energy, the energy of the sun. And that's the energy of connecting with the divine. And that's what she's doing here. So you have a mountain here in the Fool, and he's at the top of the mountains. But here we have that beautiful golden mountain that was in the Lover's card. Remember that card? And if I can find it very quickly, I may not be able to. But it was in the Lover's card, and it was that mountain Arunachala. There it is. Right? That's Lord Shiva's mountain. And when we think of Lord Shiva, who's the destroyer of all things evil and out of integrity, remember, to be able to connect with the divine, we need to get out, we need to be in integrity. We need to come into alignment. Our thoughts, words, and actions have to be in alignment with the divine, or at least in alignment. If what we think and what we say and what we do are all one and the same thing, we are living our life's purpose, right? And she's out and she's grounding. Is she barefoot? Interesting. We can't see her feet, but I'd like to say that she's grounding. I'd like to say that because we've been talking about it. I'm going to have to look it up. So let's have a quick little look at what Arthur Waite, who designed these cards, says about it. I love what he says, right? So here he is. This is his book, and this is him. It's Strength or Fortitude, right? Fortitude, in one of its most exalted aspects, is connected with the divine mystery of union. The virtue, of course, operates in all planes and hence on all of its symbolism. So this is an innocent connection. She subdued the lion. This card has nothing to do with self-confidence in the ordinary sense, though this has been suggested, but it's not. It concerns the confidence of those whose strength is God and who have found their refuge in him. Isn't that beautiful? So that's why this card and the Fool card are deeply connected, because the Fool is about to take a step off the cliff. And to take a step off the cliff, you have to absolutely trust that you're not going to die, or that if you do die, it's perfectly fine with you because you are in the hands of your connection with Source and Spirit and God, whatever you call, right? It's the highest nature of liberation. Now, another connection with strength is that it's a sign of Leo. Hold on, I've put all my cards somewhere now. Special. Here she is. So this is, when you get this, is the traditional card of Leo, or connects you to Leo and the lion. And you take responsibility. So this is where the chariot, he's in his chariot, but now as he moves into his first experience, he starts to take responsibility for life. Oh, I'm the one being the raging lion. Let me take responsibility for that. Let me subdue that lion for us, right? There's an interconnection of the external and the internal. The roses, so you see she has roses in her waist, and the roses are passion. But there's not that much passion that it overwhelms all the green. Can you see that? There's a lot of green here. There's a lot of green here too. So the lion also represents personal desires. So as you move forward in life, are you just going to go after things that are, for your own personal gain, or will you also include, those for others as well? Because if you were to start off in life thinking about yourself as connected to the whole, you've already made a lot of gains. You won't have to learn the hard way. So you're working, this is another card that's thought, here you are working with the unconscious or the subconscious, and that the lion represents the unconscious or the subconscious. And actually, I really love that. This is the kind of work that we're doing when we're working on ourselves to, reduce our triggers and react differently, because the only thing that we have control of is how we react to the things that are happening in our lives, because everything that's happening is a collection from what we've created before. So if it's currently coming toward us, then we need to say, okay, and allow it, right? And then become conscious of what we're creating in the future. And so here, this is us becoming conscious of the unconscious, or conscious of the subconscious, and the lion representing that. See how his tail is between his legs? There's a real often the tail between the legs in dogs happens when they're fearful, but there really is no fear in this lion. This lion is submitting voluntarily. It's a very, very powerful card. And so when it turns up in a reading, it's very reassuring. If you've got a yes/no question, it comes up as a yes, right? Here we go. Oh, so who won the reading? Here we go. Somebody got my number. And there's no fear in her either. No, she seems very peaceful. If you look at her eyes, she's just, her eyebrow, there's absolutely no tension in her face. It's effortless for her. And you even look at the way her hands are. I mean, look at how one wrist is almost bent backwards. It's like this, she can't be putting in much effort if her wrist is almost backwards. This is not someone who's grabbing open. You would want to see clawed hands or something. So Marlene says she got that card for your sister in the present position. Marlene, you won the reading. Woohoo! Congratulations, Marlene. You've got a half-hour reading with me. Yay! Woohoo! Well done, well done. Now, if you've missed out and you wanted a reading with me, georgiamarantos.com. I do 30, 60, 90-minute readings. We often throw in some, tools, guided meditation, neuro-linguistic programming. If anything comes up, it becomes obvious. Sometimes something comes up and we're like, reading's over. That's wonderful. Sometimes we start off a reading thinking we're going to be talking about the tarot or looking at the tarot, and then some relative pops in and we're doing a spirit, we're talking to loved ones in spirit. But that's always a treat, right? When they come to visit. So this card is a great card for therapy. So Marlene, if you say you got that for your sister in a current position, it could be that she's reaching in, right? She's looking at herself. So in terms of therapy, maybe she's looking at doing self-therapy, or she's really going into herself and she's really looking at things on a deep level, right? And bringing herself into balance. Because even though this isn't as balanced as some of the other cards, when we go in, we're instantly balanced. When we touch the earth, we're instantly balanced. Because we're, it's separate from what we're actively doing. By connecting to the earth, we're instantly becoming negative. We instantly discharge, so to speak. You hope so? That's wonderful. So if that's what your sister got, yes, it's good news for her. So Marlene, you can contact me on georgiamarantos@gmail.com or message me on Facebook through my public page, Georgia Marantos, and we can set that reading up for you. Awesome. So who would like to do a guided meditation? This is a chakra attunement. Anyone interested? I'm going to read this out. We're just going to attune our chakras one after another. So settle back. This is the exciting part of the evening because I don't often do them, but we have time today, which is wonderful. It's called a chakra attunement. There it is. And I'm going to read this out. So this was written by Derek O'Neill. Energy centers are responsible, and for more information on him, DerekO'Neill.com. He's actually due to do a meditation course. So Annalisa, if you're still listening, see if you can get your husband to have a look and do his meditation course when it becomes available. Get onto Derek O'Neill's mailing list, and then when information comes out about him doing it, teaching people how to meditate, I think that's going to be really good for your husband, because that alignment in the spine and bringing through the energy and it coming down and clearing all the nadi channels is going to be very, very powerful for all of us, actually. I mean, I can't wait to do it. So let's all get together. Let's find a very comfortable space wherever you are. Energy centers are responsible for keeping our spiritual, physical, and mental aspects in balance. Each chakra is ruled by a planet and displays the characteristics of their planets. Close your eyes now as we begin to explore the energy system. Sit comfortably and breathe deeply and slowly. Let's take some deep breaths together. Take a deep breath in and out, and in and out. Feel yourself connecting. You become aware that you are becoming deeply centered. In a few minutes, you will begin a series of exercises for better understanding your internal energy centers. the endocrine system of your body. You can mentally attune yourself to this ductless gland system, the most protected system in your body. If you take a deep breath now and look inward, deep within yourself, you can imagine your consciousness entering into you. Turn inward now and mentally look around within yourself. Venture inside your body. As you begin this awareness exercise, you may sense, feel, see, hear, or have other intuitive abilities about your body. You can perceive your neurohormonal energy centers in the very core of your physical body. The reason they are the most protected is because this is the seat of your real essence, the very center of your being, the source that is the internal you. And notice that the energy field of each chakra is alive, pulsating, and in motion. Now, near the center of your head, visualize or sense a clear, bright, white light. Picture this light. It represents your pituitary gland. This is your superconscious. Its vibration is as Jupiter, a beneficial and expanding influence, a giver of life. Perceive this light as a small light bulb, aglow with radiant energy. This is the sacred door to spiritual strength, to idealism and perfection. Now back and higher in your head, sense a small gland about the size of the tip of your baby finger. Imagine this as a tiny bulb aglow with a vivid light. Perceive this white light as your pineal gland. This is commonly called the third eye or the eye of wisdom. As you send healing attunement to this area, watch the light become brighter and bigger. Its energy vibration is as Mercury, which rules intuition insight, and your spiritual understanding. As you move now to your neck and throat area, you can sense a strong white light emanating there. This is your thyroid, your Uranus, ruled by Uranus, with a vibration of change, genius, and inspiration. It is your voice center and determines how you speak your truth. As you attune your thyroid and parathyroid, the light grows brighter. This is the receptive light of faith, adaptability, and freedom, and a special balancing point of your being. Now, going to the thymus in your mid-chest, sense a vibrant white light that is alive with energy. This is the center of your nervous system. Here is light for going and growing. It is the builder of order and regeneration. The thymus is commonly called the heart chakra, and you are opening this door to unconditional and non-judgmental love. It is influenced by Venus, and its vibration is sensitive, beautiful, and loving. Thank your thymus, for it determines the energy supply of your body, and let the light shine brighter. You continue moving to the upper abdomen, near your stomach, to the solar plexus chakra, the adrenals. You can envision now a bright white glow of optimism and inspiration. This is the center of awakening creativity. And because it is influenced by Mars, it is the vibration of your strength, faith, and courage. The adrenals are your protection and drive. From here come bursts of high energy, adrenaline. Attune this center and feel its strong vibration. You can go to your next chakra or energy center located in the lower abdomen. This is of Leydig. Visualize this area aglow with brilliant white light. Here is the light of wisdom, shining with vitality, giving and growing. The cells of Leydig are also called the seat of the soul, for it is here that your sealed memory is stored. Neptune, with the vibration of imagination and mysteriousness, watches over this area. The white light becomes as a bright flame, an eternal flame of life, guiding personal expression and positive sensuality. Now you can continue to your reproductive centers, the gonads, the generative organs of life. Feel the strong white light of high energy and positive passion. This is the source, the beginning, passion, and action, your connection to the world. This center is ruled by Saturn, with the vibration of ego and worldly unions. This is the chakra of new life and the continuity of life. Here is the life force and creative fire. Allow the universal white light to brightly flood into your soul in full vibration. Enjoy this attunement, this oneness, this balance. The more you experience, the more you will understand. And the more you understand, the more will be revealed unto you. And as you ask, so shall it be given. And you are given an opportunity now for thanksgiving. Thank your body. Thank your mind. And thank your spirit for this attunement. And whenever you are ready, open your eyes and come back into the room. Move your hands and your feet and your fingers. Stamp your feet on the ground, and big thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Thank you so much for everyone who bought a reading, for helping Rainforest flow, and for watching tonight. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week. Wonderful. And see you next Saturday, 6 p.m. We'll be studying the Hermit, who comes after the Strength card. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. I feel so relaxed. I'd want to go to sleep. Bye, everybody.